We are a couple working towards a dream of a freer, more self-sufficient life. On our 17 acres of land, deep in the Swedish forests, we're slowly but stubbornly trying to bring life back to what was once a small homestead, lived on by generations before us, who probably knew a lot more about what they were doing.
With absolutely no prior experience, we've decided to build our very first structure using lumber we've milled ourselves. It's a small cabin that will eventually become a workshop. Until then, it will serve as our first roof over our heads while we work on the property.
There's no road leading here yet, which means that a lot of building materials has to be carried by hand. This makes everything more complicated and time-consuming. We can easily spend entire weekends just carrying things. So far, just for the foundation, we've carried just over 3 tons.
It's definitely been, and very much still is, a learning experience. Despite the conditions and a few unexpected events, in this video you will see us laying the foundation, beams and floor joists for the cabin.
The lumber that we're using comes from the pines that have completely overgrown the old cabin foundation and the meadows that once surrounded it.
It feels good knowing the trees get to stay right here, just in a slightly more rectangular form.
The beams were the first pieces were cut, which means they've had the longest time to dry. We're now coating them with tar to reduce the risk of moisture damage. And yes, the smell is amazing.
I have to say, cutting the beams to the correct length was pretty nerve-wracking, since it quite literally decides the size of the entire cabin. The concrete pads have now hardened and seems to do the job of spreading the weight. On top of the concrete, we add plenty of gravel for drainage. The gravel also gives us the chance to level the blocks properly, which turns out to be a lot harder than it sounds. On this particular day, I was working alone, and some things are much harder to do by yourself than you'd expect. measuring, adjusting, readjusting, and then adjusting again. So we decided to continue that part of the work together. Den är bra. Den är bra. Den är bra. Den är bra. Och tillsammans så är de helt perfekt. Ta kameran och titta. Jajamän.
Ja, men det är väl nära nog i alla fall.
Jajamän.
Jättebra.
The ground slopes quite a bit here, which means we need more and more leka blocks the further down the slope we go. To get a sense of how many we'll need, we set up temporary strings.
Ja, mer än 3 blir det inte i alla fall.
Nej, det lär det inte bli, utan det blir ju makadam då.
Ja, precis.
Jag får bara
Ja.
sänk. Upp. Sänk. Stanna. Ja, det är nästan till helt perfekt. Kom igen. Ja, lite för mycket blev det nu, men det var bra för vi ska ändå knacka. Nej. Don't buy cheap stuff. If you want to keep your sanity and be somewhat efficient when working on a slope like this, just pour concrete piers instead, please. That said, this part of the project is finally coming to an end, and we're very eager to start placing the beams.
Känner du dig nöjd?
Jajamän. Sitter som ett smäck.
Around the worksite stand a few dead trees. Normally they take a very long time to fall, but the recent humidity seemed to have sped up the rotting process. And one of them, of course, fell straight onto the roof of our lumber drying shed and onto the sawmill. We're really hoping it's just the chainsaw mount that's spent and not the frame itself, because that would be significantly cheaper.
Ja. Vet inte om den går att spara för, men du ser att den har flyttat på sig.
Har den det?
Kanske är så att det bara går att justera in den egentligen.
Ja. Det funkar.
Något sånt, ja.
Ja.
Vad tror du om det?
Det blir nog jättebra. Det är som nytt.
Jajamän. Ja, den blir ju kort då.
As we have now reached December, it really should be below freezing here. This is not the case though, so we're doing everything we can to keep the never-ending rain away, with mixed results.
It's finally time to level the beams, and soon enough we'll start installing the floor joists. We place sill felt between the beams and the concrete blocks to create a barrier between them. The idea is to stop water from slowly traveling from the ground through the blocks and eventually into the beams.
Det ser bra ut.
Ja. Ideally, I would like the joists to be on top of the beams, but since our sawmill has a length limit on the logs it's able to mill, we had to make do. Besides, we're not too sad about handling shorter logs. They are far easier to roll to the sawmill. I found this genius idea using screwed-in blocks for the joist from a YouTube video. They've helped us tremendously, as they help place the joist perfectly flush with the beam every single time. Nej, det var fel ställe. Så. Yes. Så. Då stänger jag av här.
Finally starting the building process that we've been dreaming of for so long has been exciting, a bit chaotic and very humbling. Thankfully, colder temperatures and drier air has finally arrived and we're going full speed ahead with walls and soon enough a roof.
As always, thank you so much for watching. We hope you've had a lovely Christmas and we wish you a brighter 2026. One I think we're all hoping for with all that's going on in the world right now. See you soon.